Welcome to episode 9 of Inside the Nest. I can't believe we're here already. I'm your host, Tyson Geik, and on this episode, I'm pleased to be joined by Director of Business Development for the Halifax Thunderbirds, Charlie Ragusa, and longtime NLLer and Halifax Thunderbirds defenseman Scott Campbell will be joining in just a little bit. But Chuck, thanks so much for joining. I've been pushing to get you on to Inside the Nest for a little bit because I think what you do for the National Lacrosse League and the Halifax Thunderbirds is so extremely important. We need to kind of pull the curtain back and find out a little bit more about what you do and kind of what goes into it on a daily basis, and how other people who maybe want to get into the social media side of things, the business development side of things, can improve or kind of get to where you are. So welcome. Thanks for joining us. I don't know if we've got your audio there just yet, but Chuck, I do
There we go.
want to find out. Oh,
Apologies.
we got some audio. Okay,
There we
go.
are. That was
We're
my
rocking
bad.
and rolling now. So, Chuck, like I said, I've been pushing to get you on here for quite a while because I think that social media is such an integral part of sports today. And I want to kind of know a little bit more about how you got involved with this and how you got to where you are today with the Thunderbirds.
Yeah. I started in college working with the baseball team there and, you know, started to realize that fans and parents and players kind of, wanted to see updates, or excuse me, alumni wanted to see updates while the team was on the road. And, our main athletics account wasn't really covering the specialized sports. So I created a Twitter account, and we went to regionals around the 2012 championship for the Nighthawks then. And things started to blow up, and I was, first kind of got an inkling that this could be something that I was really interested in. I started with the Nighthawks in 2013, 2014 as a sales rep. And around that time, I think, social media was growing to, sort of big, but it was still in its infancy. And as the next 2 years progressed, it definitely increased with accounts like the LA Kings Twitter kind of being that first punchy brand. It really kind of put, social media on the map in the professional sports realm. And around 2016, we saw the need to focus on that in a full-time role, because at that point we were kind of splitting up a couple people. And I followed Ben Soro, who at that time was running the account, and kind of used the voice that he was going with, putting a little bit of a character into the account, really engaging with fans, and you know being punchy and being witty, and being just a personality. And that's kind of been the strategy all along, is just, how do we engage fans, how do we talk to fans in a way that they want to hear it back. So I think, as we progress through the mid 2000s there, it's definitely taken, quite a drastic leap in terms of all the different offerings between Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all the different platforms.
Now, when you look at it in the kind of progression of social media and its involvement in professional sports, how do you get on top of everything, just making sure that you're kind of ahead of the game and just doing some maybe revolutionary stuff with the Thunderbirds?
Yeah, my phone's always attached to my hip, and whether I'm working or not, I'm always kind of keeping an eye on, any memes or trends that might be taking off. And that's a thing that you've kind of seen, right? Like, everything's right at your fingertips. So, you know, when you take a look at, like, the skateboarder with the ocean spray, you can kind of get a feel right away for what that next viral sensation is going to be. The Bernie Sanders sitting in a chair meme. As long as you're kind of surfing and staying current, you can kind of predict, the factors that are going to lead into that next viral sensation. So, for us, even when we're in season, it's just trying to be relevant with fans. I think social media is so important for people to get away from their problems. I know that there's, the flip side where people look to, fight or argue or hide behind, burner accounts, whatever the case might be. But I think there's people that use it as an escape from their job or real life problems. And what we try and do is really, be an outlet for people that might be, feeling down on the day, or, can cheer people up. We want to engage with people and just be a distraction from whatever they might be going through.
I know from personal experience, it's pretty tough to kind of be connected at all times and have your phone on you all the time, and just have that inability to connect. When it comes to running a professional sports team's social media account, you're kind of the voice there. Like I said, I wanted to pull the curtain back here, but the curtain's kind of up, and people don't realize sometimes that there is a human being, behind this account. So um, on those days where things are maybe a little bit more negative, how do you kind of deal with that? And maybe what would you say to people who are listening that maybe don't realize that there is a human being behind that account running it?
Right. And I think there's a couple different strategies as a social media person that you kind of can create, to give yourself a little bit of freedom, or a little bit of, like, you know, I guess, a counterattack, right? So we've established ourselves as a little bit more of a punchy account, where we're not afraid to give it back to fans. I think for everybody that comes at us with, negative comments from a different fan base, or, chirps us in game, it's things that I keep on the back burner. I might screenshot something, or, save the tweet, just, for down the road. And you have to poke fun at yourself sometimes, when you deserve it, and when you lose. Like, we've kind of I've kind of put my foot in my mouth a couple times with, getting really eager in games. But I think we've built a reputation where, if you're a fan from another organization and you're gonna chirp us, we're gonna give it right back to you. And to a degree, I think some people might stay away from that now. So I think that's one strategy. But I think the other part of it is, we have enough friends in this industry where, we know when they're struggling, and try and pick them up. You know, one of my better friends in this league, Kelsey Sweet, she, manages the Bandits account, but she also manages the Bills and the Sabres. And the Sabres, it's no surprise they're struggling. So sometimes it's, a nice message to pick somebody up like that. I think, there's a lot of friendships behind the scenes that people don't really realize. And I was giving a presentation with Ontario Lacrosse University the other day, and I said, you're only as strong as the weakest team in your league. And we got to start thinking in that: you succeed, I succeed, we succeed. And the more that we can bounce ideas off each other, and really kind of pick each other up, it's going to be huge.
Yeah, it's kind of funny that you bring that up. I wasn't able to kind of attend your Ontario Lacrosse University conference. I heard, or chat, I should say, but I heard it went really well. I was given a speech on the Sunday, and I said the exact same thing. Not even having known that you mentioned that. We only kind of move as fast as the slowest team in the league. So we've heard it said time and time again this year, but we're all in this together. And I think that very much is the case in the National Lacrosse League, as we try to get the sport to the next level and just try to create, good content across the board. Moving forward, Chuck, I wanted to know about your kind of outlook on the next season, and maybe the things that you hope to accomplish with the content coming from the Halifax Thunderbirds, and just next season. What do you want to see happen in a market like Halifax?
I think Halifax is the perfect storm for, you know, everything you need for a digital media success and digital media breakout. I think it's such a close, tight knit community that the fans are so passionate. And it's great working in an organization where you have, our president John Catalano, our VP of marketing Avery Light, you Tyson. Like, we all bounce ideas off each other. Pat Gregoire as well. Late at night we're shooting texts to each other, something that we saw, some sort of post that we might have seen that sparks an idea. So working around an incredible group of people, it makes the job easy, and it makes it fun. And I think, this time off has given us all a total appreciation for what we're doing. And I think, working with guys like Stroby and Brian Monroe, they're talented individuals. And you know, I'm really excited to get back. I think the city's craving this team, and the Thunderbirds play on the floor. I think we're going to be an incredibly talented team this year, and kind of with that first year under our belts, I think you know everyone should kind of be on notice that we're going to beef our game up like tenfold. Like I don't think the NLL is ever going to see something like this. I don't think they've ever seen anything like what we're going to do this year.
I'm confident in saying the same thing there. I've got this question out to a lot of the players that we've had on Inside the Nest, and I always ask, what's it like as a player to play for the city of Halifax, and what was the environment and atmosphere like? But I haven't had the chance to ask a staff member the same question. You obviously worked with the Rochester Nighthawks for a number of years. You saw how things were done in Rochester. You were there for some of the biggest years that organization had, and it was pretty special. You go into Halifax in the inaugural season as someone who's up in the press box, coming down to the turf to capture content and what have you. But what was the experience like there, and what can you tell me about that transition from a team employee's point of view?
I just think the people in general in Halifax are just so incredible and so supportive. The Scotiabank Center staff, every single person is fully invested in our organization. Like they're working for us exactly, or for themselves. The second you walk in the door, it's a smile, it's a hello, and it's they're literally sprinting around trying to make sure that we're accommodated for. Their social media presence helping us, supporting us, as a great partner. It's phenomenal. Mayor Mike Savage has welcomed us in with wide open arms, and Tony Mancini, all these guys that are in the political sphere, be a part of this organization and want to align themselves with us, and that's something that I think is truly incredible, and it speaks volumes to the Halifax community. And the other part of it is too, like we touched upon, negativity on social media. I think for us, when we lose, it's different. Fans are ready to kind of get back at it and are excited, and there's not that hostility. There's not a sense of bashing the team. They want this team to succeed, and they're going to do whatever they can, the guys on, and you know bring positive presence for the next game.
I have word that we've got Scott Campbell, Halifax Thunderbirds defenseman, on the line now. Let's bring him in here to producer John, if we can. Charlie and Scott have worked together in the past, so we've got the three shot. Soupy, welcome to Inside the Nest. If you're just joining us, everyone watching on Facebook, Twitter, thank you for joining us, and those listening later on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We do appreciate you tuning in. We've got Scott Campbell here and Charlie Ragusa. Soupy, sorry to cut you off there, but thanks again for joining us.
No, I was just saying thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, and apologize for being a little bit late. Had a incident at the monkey bars with my youngest there, and we were just trying to soak up the last little bit of sunshine here. It's been a nice day here in Toronto, so and then obviously we just had to have a little cuddle after a fall off the monkey bars. So before we got.
All right, I hope everyone's safe and sound now. No tears.
Everybody's good. Thanks.
Soupy, I'll ask you the same question that I just asked Chuck there. I was asking him about coming in as a new member of the organization to a new city in Halifax, just the experience firsthand. What was it like for you to, go for, you've been in this league for 16 years now, to kind of hop around the league, to play for Rochester, make that move to Halifax, and see something kind of being built from the ground up?
Yeah, I think that was the biggest thing, is that when it's being built from the ground up, you don't really know what to expect. I was lucky enough to be able to get out to Halifax in August, and there was already a little bit of a buzz at that point in time. And then obviously traveling back home and not really seeing anything again until December. Not knowing what to expect, but that first home game in Halifax, the night before, I was out for dinner, and my family had joined me for that first game, and a couple people at dinner had I was wearing something from the Thunderbirds, something logoed, and getting stopped a couple times. Oh, you going to the game tomorrow? You going to the game tomorrow? And explaining I was a player, and just that excitement, and you don't get that in a lot of places, and then obviously to see just the amount of fans that would grow game over game, and the excitement, grow game over game. That was pretty amazing to see. So to start as a new franchise, and then sort of midway through the year start rivaling teams like Saskatchewan that have a rabid fan base. I would say arguably our building was louder at the end of or sort of midway through the year. So it was fantastic to see, and as a player, and a guy who's been in the league for a while, it's certainly nice to see, because we have a couple different spots that could definitely use that type of fan base to help the team along.
Now, you just said Halifax fans are louder than SAS fans, and that comes from a man who's played in both barns as a member
Yeah.
of both organizations. So, yeah, that's high praise for the Thunderbirds fans who are tuning in. Soupy, while we've got Chuck on the line here, I want to know, he does some great work with social media, having a voice for the Thunderbirds, kind of attracting new fans. It's important to keep everyone engaged. As a player, do you have a close eye on the social media accounts of whatever team that you're playing for? And, do you pay much attention there? And are you kind of, I guess, invested in what's going on with everything online?
So I'm probably the rare one. So I guess first and foremost, I mean, Charlie Chuck is, again, the best in the business, right? I mean, the way he runs our account, and again, being in a couple different spots and seeing sort of the social media presence, Chuck does it unlike anyone else, and is definitely doing it the best across the league. Being one of the older guys, social media is not exactly my forte, and so I don't have any of the socials too much. So I don't follow anything really. For the most part, I pop on and actually just use a browser to follow Teddy Jenner and maybe a little lacrosse flash, and outside of that, that's sort of where I get my NLL news really. But I know I know a ton of players that are absolutely taking a look and grabbing some motivation from the team we're about to play, social media handle, and those types of things, right? So yeah, I'm just one of the rare ones that sort of don't follow.
In your time in the league, over the course of 16 seasons, what's it been like for a player to kind of get a little bit more accustomed to, more media coverage, having people, maybe a couple more microphones in your face? I think that kind of existed years ago, and then maybe went away for a little bit, and now it's starting to come back. So how have you dealt with that, and what are your views on that part of the process?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's where we wanted to go, right? That's what we want from our sport, is to get more eyeballs on the sport, and guys like Charlie are given that platform to do that for us. And so I hope it just continues to grow, and get lacrosse to the mainstream. And I think it's a sport that it's just so exciting to watch, and so the more we can get out and spread the word, then we'll get more butts in the seats, and more people playing this great game, right? So let's keep microphones in everybody's face, right?
Chuck, you've got a microphone in your face right now. Any questions for Soupy?
No, I mean, I think I just want to echo kind of what Soupy was saying there. From my start in the league as an intern back, 2010, 2011, to where we are now, I think it's grown drastically. I think you kind of went from that mentality of no access to locker rooms, everything's a secret. Social media is for me guys, and I think that mentality has changed over time, where people are kind of in that idea that, listen, we grow together. These are the sort of things that are going to put eyeballs on our sport, because it is so unique and it is, so attractive to new fans. So, it's been great being along with this organization, for the better part of the decade, and being around guys like Soupy and Cody, because they become part of your family. You look forward to seeing these guys every week. Guys like Keo, it's great to have these guys back too. I remember Soupy had his daughter in the cup. I forget what year it was in Rochester, and now to see, full grown kid, it's crazy. It's crazy to see, like guys like Paul Day, who's, had his little kid running around in Rochester, and now he's playing in the junior NLL, and, Kersey's kids. It's awesome. This is a family, and I'm very excited and thrilled to be a part of it.
Chuck, we'll let you go on that note. I really do appreciate you coming on here and kind of sharing some insight. You and I kind of became friends through lacrosse coverage, I guess. I think when I started with the National Lacrosse League back in 2016, I remember coming to Face-Off Weekend down in Rochester before the Nighthawks took on the Toronto Rock, and I think it was probably even before that in Six Nations. But you and I were kind of chatting about things, and we formed a pretty great friendship over the years, just kind of covering lacrosse, and to see the work that you've done, and how far you've kind of helped the organization come along. It's pretty impressive, and I'm proud to know a guy like you who has done work like this. So thanks for joining us. I'm really glad we could kind of have you on to share your side of the story.
Appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Good seeing you, Chuck.
It's Charlie Ragusa, Director of Business Development for the Halifax Thunderbirds. Soupy will keep you on here. Want to pick your brain a little bit more about things across the National Lacrosse League. As I mentioned, you spent 16 years, or 16 seasons, I should say, in the league. You were traded from Rochester, playing with the Nighthawks, to the Saskatchewan Rush, and made the decision to re-sign in Halifax, or with the Thunderbirds organization. You had the chance to kind of walk and go somewhere else, but what made you come back to this club?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was, I'd like to say, it was a complete no-brainer, but, my gut sort of drove me back here. Obviously spending a ton of time with Kurt, our owner, and, sort of what he's been building and how he's treated me. And, that was, I felt not, maybe the wrong word, but felt like I owed him a little bit. He was really good to my career. And took a chance on me after I got cut, just straight up released from Boston, and had me on his team, the next weekend, coincidentally playing against Boston. And, just went from there and just really found a home in his organization. And so, that would be probably the first piece. And then sitting back and looking at teams, obviously the year, prior in Rochester, before getting traded to Sask. And then, anyhow, long story, but the, just seeing how the team was growing and seeing the pieces there, really, I really felt that there was something there. We hadn't reached our potential, in Rochester, and, wanted to, join the squad and see if, I could be, a piece of something sort of bigger, right? And I think you saw that starting to come together last year, and obviously we didn't get a chance to see it through. And just a young team, hungry team, and just wanted to be a veteran on that team, and sort of a bunch of guys in their prime, and see where that would take us, right?
Soupy, I think we've lost audio, or I have on my end of things at least. So I'm just waiting to kind of get that back. Let's see if
I
we
can hear you. Can hear you.
There we go.
Me?
Okay, you're back.
Hello?
You're back. Sorry, I missed the last.
All right, we're back.
Missed the last part of the answer, but I'm hoping that we've got that on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Maybe
Now
we can go back through it if
I
you
do,
want.
yeah. Um, I have to ask you about, the cancellation of last season and kind of the momentum that the Thunderbirds had. How tough was that to kind of deal with? And, what was the feeling like?
Well, it was like, yeah, I mean, it was just super disappointing. Like again, we had a good thing going. We had maybe just had a bit of a blip. I think we had lost a couple games, and then we maybe won kind of two in a row, and kind of getting our mojo back a little bit, and gearing up for the back half of the season, kind of a run into playoffs, right? And so just everything was the group, the team was so tight. We were having such a good time. We were winning, obviously, playing in front of Halifax, and those fans were, nothing like I had seen in my 16 years, and so it's just bittersweet, or just bitter, I suppose, not even bittersweet. Like it was just like kind of didn't feel real for a long time, and then it was like, oh, we might be back, we might be back, we might be back, and then completely canceled, right? So yeah, just like kind of just anticlimactic, just you know wish we could have kept that roll going. And as an older guy, it's like how many more years do I have left of this, and how quickly can we get back at it, and try to keep that magic rolling, really, right? So that's just kind of all the feelings that we're going through, but it was just kind of just sad, essentially.
Yeah. Do you feel that it adds more fuel to the fire in inaugural season 2.0 here that's set to take place at the end of 2021?
Yeah, I think maybe from a player's perspective, absolutely, and I hope from the fans' perspective as well that hey, it's like there's that unfinished business there. I hope they remember how much fun it was coming to the games and that buzz, and can get all those fans back and more. And I think we were putting on a pretty good show. So it sounds like even just from we kind of last few weeks or a few weeks ago, we were calling some season ticket holders and that, and sounds like everybody was pretty pumped to, hey, whenever we can figure it out and get back to it, they'll be there and they'll be coming in droves, right?
So you'll have spent a fair bit of time off from playing, from the cancellation of the season in 2020 all the way up
Mm-hmm.
until the end of 2021. How do you plan on kind of staying game ready? You are an older guy in this league, so it might prove to be a little bit more of a challenge, but do you have a kind of strategy there? Are you staying involved and active, keeping the stick in your hands in the meantime?
Yeah, so stick in my hands, not so much. I think you might be able to see it behind me there, or it's which way, this way. So, while I'm
Yeah.
on this is my office is where I work from, my 9 to 5, and so I'm on calls. I've do a little cradling and that sort of thing, bouncing the ball just on the floor here, but haven't been getting out and throwing the ball around too much. But it's put a I think a decent setup in my garage, and got a rack set up and some barbells and bumper plates, and go out there and grind for a bit. The gyms are back open here, so I'm back kind of in my routine, with my morning workouts, and then just I think there was talk of that bubble, and started ramping up my training again, kind of at that time, and the weather getting nice again here now. We can get out and start pounding the pavement a little bit too. So, I guess really at this point it's routine for me. I like to have something to like a goal to kind of work towards, right? So, staying in the gym, and think I'll be ready to go when training camp comes here.
Well, I don't want to keep you for too much longer, but I do have to know the number one thing that you're looking forward to heading back into the 2021 2022 season here.
Um, yeah, I would say like there's uh there's like a buzz when we land in Halifax, and kind of pick up our bags and jump on the bus. Most of the guys fly from Toronto, heading into Halifax, and jumping on the bus, and the boys calling the hotel restaurant there and getting their chowder ordered for their meal of the night, and just sort of the excitement of kind of just all being together and, getting ready for that game the Saturday night. That's one of the biggest things that I miss, right? Is just traveling with the boys and having a good laugh, and so I'm certainly ready to get back at that. And close second is just that first face off and that excitement and those nerves, and even 16 years in the league, getting that once that ball is drawn, like there's sort of nerves right up into that, and then you just kind of go on instincts from there, right? So those are the two things that I certainly miss.
Yeah, it's going to be one great feeling going down that escalator, seeing the "Welcome to Halifax" sign that's in the airport there, that everyone's always Instagramming. I know you're not on Instagram, but everyone does when they touch down in Halifax. So I myself, I'm looking forward to that too. Soupy, thanks so much for joining us here. You're always great to talk to, and definitely makes my job easy. Looking forward to seeing you play in 2021, 2022, and excited to see what you have in store, because I think in the the second half of your career here, you started to even more in terms of numbers, goals, assists. I think you set a career high in points in 2018, and you were a big part of the Rochester Nighthawks run to the finals too. So excited to see what you've got in store for us. And again, thanks for joining us in Inside the Nest.
Yeah, thanks for having us. I always got some tricks up my sleeve there, Tice, a wily old vet. So, hoping to keep people surprised at my game. But, thanks for having me on, and always great chatting with you, man.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you got in store. For all those who have tuned in here to Inside the Nest, episode 9, we want to thank you so much for our producer, John Catalano, Avery Light, Charlie Ragusa, the rest of the Halifax Centerbirds organization. It means a lot that you're tuning in right now. Hope everyone's staying sane, staying safe, and staying happy. We are counting the days to the 2021-2022 season, and we'll be back with another episode of Inside the Nest. That is episode 10, comes in just a couple of weeks. If you did miss the episode, or if you're just tuning into the tail end of it, you can catch the episodes on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you listen to all of your podcasts. Again, thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Tyson Geik, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.